Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second session, second part of the discussion on evolution. In the previous lecture, right now, we had discussed the various theories of origin of life. In fact, to be precise, we discussed 5 theories, right? We saw what is the theory of special creation. Then we saw what is the theory of panspermia or cosmozoa, theory of abiogenesis or spontaneous regeneration, right? Theory of biogenesis, right? Which was supported by experiments of Francisco Redi, Spallanzani, and Louis Pasteur. And finally, we saw the theory of self-assembly, which was in detail explained by Oparin and Haldane, right? And that theory was experimentally supported by the experiment which was performed by Miller and Urey, right? The Urey-Miller's experiment. Now, in today's session, we would like to discuss the various theories of evolution of life. See, in the first part, we spoke about origin of life, and today we would like to bring up the next part of the discussion, that is evolution. Now, in the previous lecture, I had made a mention that this entire evolution right now has been discussed under two things. The first part is called as the chemical evolution, जो हमने last time discuss किया, that how chemically, right, the self-assembly property, right, how the molecules have assembled and brought about the formation of the first living structure. Now, once that living structure has come into existence, what has been followed is biological evolution, right? So now organic evolution of life, the second part. Now, obviously, the most famous of the theories of all of them is the Darwin's theory of evolution, which is also called as theory of natural selection. But before Darwin, right, there was a person by the name of Lamarck, a French person called as Lamarck, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Now, he had brought this idea of evolution. He brought this theme of evolution. Now, his theory was called as use and disuse of characters. In the NCERT also, we find discussion of Lamarck's theory. I believe 7.5 में कहीं तो नीचे last part में they have mentioned the Lamarck's theory का discussion. Now, Lamarck was of the opinion that individuals are influenced by the environment in which they survive, and depending on that, to adapt to that environment, they develop certain characteristics in which a particular organ has to be used or disused. So, agar right now that animal, that organism is continuously using that organ, the organ starts developing, and these developmental features are passed on to the next generation, which further develop. And vice versa, अगर वो यूज नहीं करता है तो उसका डीजनरेशन होगा और ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स भी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में आएंगे, and that will lead to continuous degeneration of that organ, finally leading to disappearing of that organ, right? Now, to explain his theory, he cited two examples, one for use of organ, one for disuse of organ, right? Very famous example he has cited of giraffe, right? Now, according to Lamarck, originally the giraffe was a small sized deer like animal, right? Now, it was finding food located on the ground, but due to circumstances, changes in the environment, it had to migrate to areas where the food was located at a higher level, not on the ground. So, to reach the food, it had to stretch its neck and stand on its forelimbs. Now, doing this on a daily basis, according to Lamarck, not me, please, huh? This led to elongation, gradual elongation of the neck. Now, this character of elongation, according to Lamarck, was inherited by the next generation, which carried forward. So, अब gradually, because of the use, continuous use of this organ, today we have long-necked giraffes. Disuse को explain करने के लिए he cited the example of snakes, limbless reptiles, right? Now he said that snakes once had limbs, but to save itself from the predators, it used to, go into small areas into the ground where it had to, travel. It had to, scrape on its belly, and it was not using the limbs. So gradually over the period of time, there was degeneration because uska disuse tha isliye. So Lamarck's theory was called as use and disuse. Okay. Now, as I told you that theory के against objection आता है, और ऑब्जेक्शन अगर तुम ओवररूल नहीं कर पाते हो, एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाते हो, जस्टिफाई या सेटिस्फाई नहीं कर पाते हो, तो थ्योरी रिमेन्स एज थ्योरी. Now there was this person called as Weizmann. Now Weizmann brought an objection against the Lamarck's theory. Now what experiment did Weizmann perform? Now what Weizmann did, excuse me, not what Weizmann did was, he took rats and he started cutting off the tails of the rat, right? So this tail cut rat was an acquired character, right? Now, so if Lamarck's theory would have been right, this acquired character of the non-tail version should have been carried out to the next generation. He tried this for 20 generations. Each and every time the rat was born with a tail. तो ये अक्वायर्ड कैरेक्टर्स वाला थियरी जो है वो एकदम उड़ गया. बट लेमार्क का जो क्रेडिट है वो हिस्ट्री में यही है कि ही वाज राइट द वन हु बॉट दिस थियरी ऑफ एवोल्यूशन इन द फॉरेस्ट, राइट ना. सी देखो, एवोल्यूशन में ये जितने साइंटिस्ट ने थ्योरी बनाया है, एवरीवन बिलीव दैट एवोल्यूशन वाज द वे फॉर प्रोग्रेस ऑफ लाइफ. बट द वे एवोल्यूशन हैज प्रोग्रेस्ड, that is where they differ. So according to Lamarck, the evolution was by means of use and disuse of organs, right? This was Lamarck's theory. Going ahead, coming to Darwin's theory of origin of species by natural selection. This is on your screen is this handsome old man is Darwin, right? Now Darwin का जो जनरल थीम था, राइट ना, हम लोग बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं, राइट ना. ही वाज अ प्रोपोनेंट ऑफ सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, राइट ना. व्हाट ही ऑलवेज सेड इज द फिटेस्ट विल सर्वाइव. नाउ सी how they make the statements. I bought this image specifically to explain that एक statement में कितनी सारी चीजें वो लोग बोल सकते हैं. See what the statement says. One general law leading to advancement of all organic beings. Advancement of all organic beings का मतलब क्या हो गया? Evolution. Namely, right? What is the law? Multiply, reproduction, vary, difference between individuals, and let the strongest live and the weakest die. Right now, so the difference आएगा, उसमें से the strongest will survive and the weakest will die. Right? This was what was brought by Charles Darwin. Now, let's take this in a little depth and detail. What are the points of this theory? Now, Charles Darwin was a British naturalist, right? Naturalist was the one who studied nature. So there was no classification as such कि वो botanist था या zoologist. He was a naturalist. Now, the era in which Darwin was around in his 30s, early 30s, 35, I think so. Right now, uh, obviously, Britain was at the peak of their powers, and they were very powerful industrially, and everything. So there used to be ships who used to go on long voyages for business purposes, and this voyages used to be very very big, year, 2 years, 3 years, and all that. And they used to have a lot of stoppages at various ports. So what was the norm in those days is that with every voyage they used to have one naturalist go by, ताकि जहां भी जो शिप रुकेगी वहां के फ्लोरा और फोना को वो नेचुरलिस्ट एक्सप्लोर करेगा और जो नई चीजें जो है वो ढूंढ के लाएगा. तो इसलिए एक नेचुरलिस्ट एक पोस्ट थी शिप पे. सो दिस वाज द शिप कॉल्ड HMS Beagle, right, on which Darwin was appointed as a naturalist. Now, in the course of his voyage, right now, around in the Pacific Islands, there was this island called as Galapagos, right? Now, the stop at Galapagos was the point where the idea of speciation got initiated. And he was constantly corresponding with this person called as Alfred Russel Wallace, right? Both were all having the same opinion for this theory of natural selection, but unfortunately history remembers only Charles Darwin today, right? So this was the small theory, history behind this theory. Now, what are the points for Darwin's theory? Now, Darwin का सबसे पहला पॉइंट था रिप्रोडक्शन, राइट? According to Darwin, every organism has a great potential for reproduction, right? चाहे वो कोई भी साइज का हो, the potential to reproduce is very high. Fast, slow depends on the organism. ठीक है ना? All organisms produce more young ones than those which can survive up to maturity. देखा second point देखो, right? So according to him, population increases in geometrical proportion, right? Remember in our discussion on ecology, we mentioned that Darwin had borrowed a point from Thomas Malthus, right? No? Population increases by geometric progression, GP में बढ़ता है, but food production always increases in AP. That's why population is always a step ahead of food production, right? ये point वहां से लिया है उसने. So population tends to increase in geometric proportion, right? They have given two examples. He has given two examples cited here, right? One of the fastest breeder, one of the slowest breeder. Oyster, right? The oyster lays around 114 million eggs in a single spawn, right? If all the eggs would hatch out and if all of them would reproduce for 5 generations, you can imagine the state of this earth, right? But all of them don't survive to maturity. Elephant considered the slowest breeder, right? Now, slowest breeder, the gestation period of an elephant is around 22 months, right? In its entire lifespan of 100 years can produce only 6 young ones. That is its reproductive potential, right? If all the young ones would survive of a single elephant and would reproduce in just 750 years, we would have 19 million elephants, right? So the potential for reproduction is very high, right? Now, but in spite of this property, the number of organisms does not increase, it remains stable because of struggle for existence. Why? Because the amount of food and space availability is constant, right? Right? अब फूड तो चलो थोड़ा बढ़ सकता है, कम हो सकता है, लेकिन स्पेस तो उतना ही रहेगा. जो अवेलेबल स्पेस है वो तो जाने वाला नहीं है. So if the number of individuals increase, there is a struggle for existence, right? You have to struggle between organisms, and this struggle, right, I had brought this point when we were doing competition wala point in organisms and population. I distinctly remember that. This struggle is of three types. Either the struggle is between the members of the same species, intra-specific struggle, right? Now, two organisms belonging to the same species will have the same resource. So will they not compete for the same resource? Right? Are you all not competing for the same NEET ka, right? Now medical seat, MBBS seat. So all what you're undergoing is intra-specific competition. खाली resource का form change हो रहा है और कुछ नहीं. Right? Just around about 50,000 seats in the entire of India up for grabs, and there are about 15 lakh students competing for that. Intra-specific competition, intra-specific struggle. If you are struggling, competing against a member of another species, it is inter-specific struggle, right? Maybe for food, shelter, breeding places, whatever the kind of resource it may be. Pehla, intra-specific within the same species. Second is inter-specific between members of the two different species. And lastly is environmental struggle or extra-specific struggle. All the organisms struggling against environment, right? Now, so if you have a flood, if you have an, it's same for all the organisms. All of them are struggling against this environment, right? So second point in Darwin's theory is the struggle for existence, struggle for survival, right? Now, the third point is variation and heredity. Now, what are variations? Variations are differences between individuals of the same species. Same species. Are we of the same species? Yes. But do we have variations amongst ourselves? Yes. That is what makes us different from each other, right? Forget teacher, student, forget friends, right? Now, what about parents and their children, right? They have character. Children have characteristics of their parents, but do they have characteristics of their own also, which is brought about by meiosis recombination? So, do they vary from their parents? Do they vary from their parents? Yes. So, I have characteristics of my father as well as my mother, but I have characteristics which are my own also, right? There was a time when I was, interested in a lot of reading. Not now, but there was a time when I was a voracious reader. I inherited this feature from my father, who was also a voracious reader. So am I inheriting that character? Yes. But he used to read good intellectual stuff. I used to read comics. I used to read fiction. That was the variation between us, right? So we are different. Brothers and sisters, right? Now, do they have variations? Yes. Twins, do they have variations? Yes. Right? So variations are there between members of the same species. So two members of the same species, when faced with a same situation, would react differently. Some would respond favorably, some would respond unfavorably. This is the difference between that. That was Darwin trying to highlight. According to Darwin, useful variations are preserved. Right ना? Variation harmful भी हो सकता है, useful भी हो सकता है. यूजफुल वेरिएशन से वो ओवरकम करता है, हार्मफुल वेरिएशन उसको ओवरकम करने नहीं देता है. किसको ओवरकम करने नहीं देता है? स्ट्रगल फॉर एग्जिस्टेंस को. ठीक है ना? सो अकॉर्डिंग टू डार्विन, यूजफुल वेरिएशंस आर इनहेरिटेड, दे आर पास्ड ऑन टू देयर ऑफस्प्रिंग्स, एंड यूजिंग दिस दे इवॉल्व. This is where Darwin described two types of variations: favorable variations and unfavorable variations. The big question here is, if the members of the competing members are of the same species, from where has the variation come? This was where Darwin failed to explain the source of variation. अब उसने पूरा डाल दिया नेचर के ऊपर, बोले ये नेचर डिसाइड करता है बाबा कि कौन आगे बढ़ेगा और कौन नहीं जाएगा. So the process of selection, he said, was on nature, and that's why this theory was labeled as theory of natural selection. Right? This was one big question mark against the theory, which even Darwin admitted towards the end of his life, that there are some loopholes in the theory which I have not been able to explain. Right? If you read the history of Darwin, towards the end of his life, he had made this admission also. Right? So the fourth point automatically becomes, जो favorable variation है, they are the ones who are surviving, right? Now that is survival of the fittest. So the organisms provided with favorable variation succeed in the struggle. They succeed in the struggle for existence, while the organisms with unfavorable are unfit to survive and they perish. So the ones with the favorable variation, उनका reproduction बढ़ता जाएगा, उनके जैसे the ones with favorable variations will increase, and that will lead to development of a new species. That is how speciation comes about according to this theory of natural selection. The first point, reproduction था. Second, struggle for existence. Third, variation. And fourth, survival of fittest. Right? And fifth, as I told you, this was what gave rise to a new species. Right? So these are 5 points which are highlighting Darwin's theory. Right? I just tried to condense this entire thing into a single image right now. देखो, पहला point, overproduction leading to struggle for existence. अब struggle for existence में variation आ जाएगा, या तो favorable या unfavorable. राइट? अगर अनफेवरेबल है तो वो एग्जिस्टेंस या स्ट्रगल को ओवरकम नहीं कर पाता है, तो वो एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा. लेकिन अगर वेरिएशन फेवरेबल है तो सरवाइव करता है. सरवाइव करने के बाद उसको अपने नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को देगा, इनहेरिट करेगा, और अब वो जनरेशन दर जनरेशन, इन सक्सेसिव जनरेशंस, these variations are accumulating, and after few generations, few मतलब यहाँ पर we're talking about millions of years right now, it is origin of new species, right? But see who is given the responsibility of variation. कौन decide करता है? Nature. And that's why the theory is called as theory of natural selection. You can please make a note of this table. Last time I had given a table for Oper and Halden also. I hope you have made note of that, please. Right? So दो theories अपनी हो गई, एक लेमार्क की theory और एक डार्विन की theory. As I said, objections to Darwin's theory, he explained survival of the fittest but not the arrival of the fittest. Yani he was not aware ke how hereditary principles are there, where are the variations coming from. That's why we find आगे जाके Darwin's theory has been tried to explain on the basis of genetic principles, that maybe because of these principles evolution is occurring. Right? Towards the end we'll see the modern synthetic theory, right now, and how modern synthetic theory has tried to apply to Darwin's theory. That's why. Right? So this is in short what Darwin's theory is about. Right? Again वो 7.5 जो तुम्हारा NCERT है, उसमें they have given this point of Darwin's theory, right? लेमार्क के ऊपर वाला पार्ट में दिया हुआ है. Okay. The next theory that we have is Hugo de Vries theory of mutation. Again, a new dimension to evolution, right? ना? लेमार्क का thought था use and disuse, right? Darwin का thought था natural selection, right? Hugo de Vries has brought to the point of mutation. एक minute. Before I go ahead, वो लेमार्क में we did that example of giraffe. बराबर ना, जिराफ वाला एग्जाम्पल किया हम लोग ने. बराबर ना. Now अगर वही जिराफ वाला एग्जाम्पल we try to understand from Darwin's point of view, राइट ना, तो डार्विनिज्म और लेमार्किज्म में डिफरेंस अपने को क्लियरली मालूम पड़ जाएगा, राइट ना. आई शुड हैव बॉट इन अ स्लाइड फॉर दैट एक्चुअली, माय बैड. सी, लेमार्क के हिसाब से द जिराफ was originally the size of a deer, all of them. फिर they had to migrate and then use के वजह से फिर वो जिराफ इवॉल्व हुआ. सेम जिराफ वाला एग्जाम्पल अकॉर्डिंग टू डार्विन. सो डार्विन के हिसाब से जिराफ वर ऑफ टू टाइप्स, द शॉर्ट डियर टाइप्स एंड द लॉन्ग नेक्ड ones. As long as the food was available on the ground, both of them were surviving. But if they had to migrate where food was available at a height, then वो long neck giraffe का पास variation favorable था और जो short neck था उसके पास unfavorable था. तो उसकी वजह से वो extinct हो गया, long neck survive हुआ and it started evolving. So this is how they both try to explain the same concept but in two different ways. Right? Now Hugo de Vries brought about the theory of mutation. Right? According to the theory of Hugo de Vries, if you have done your Mendel's का chapter proper, right ना, right, पढ़ा रहेगा तुमने. There were three people who rediscovered the work of Mendel, right? Mendel died in 1885, right? 15 या 16 साल के बाद 1900 के अंदर आसपास there were three people who rediscovered the entire work of Mendel. One of them was Hugo de Vries. He was a Dutch botanist. Now, he was working on a plant by the name of evening primrose, Oenothera lamarckiana. I think I brought this name here, Oenothera lamarckiana. He studied this plant for 7 generations. Plant ka 7 generations, not, please, 7 generations of plants. Now, he observed, see, he was continuously selfing them. If he was selfing them, obviously characters in the next generation should have been same. Selfing brings out the homozygous characters. But he noticed that in about 1% of the plants that he was studying, he studied somewhere around about 50,000 plants. So in about 500 or 700 odd plants, right now, he saw some changes. And these changes were very different from the previous ones. मतलब जो normal वाला था उससे एकदम अलग था. Now, when he selfed these plants, वो जो 507 जो अलग वाला था, the changes passed on to the next generation. So this sudden change in character, he termed mutation. So he is credited for bringing the term mutation. And he changed form, mutate हो गया, change हो गया. Right? So the term mutation means sudden change taking place in the genetic material of the organism that are heritable. Right? Now, his main features of theory, see, Darwin or Hugo de Vries are both talking about evolution, but they are both radically opposite in their theory. Right? Hugo de Vries is saying that एक generation में सब कुछ बराबर है, next generation में हो सकता है change आ जाए, mutation हो जाए, species change हो जाए. यानी it is only a matter of one generation according to Hugo de Vries, sudden. But Darwin says no, it is slow. Right? Now it is slow. It takes millions of years for a new species to develop. दोनों एक ही प्रोसेस की बात कर रहे हैं एवोल्यूशन की, लेकिन दोनों एकदम ऑपोजिट तरीके से बात कर रहे हैं. क्या लिखा देखो मेन फीचर्स, द न्यू स्पीशीज ओरिजिनेट एज रिजल्ट ऑफ लार्ज डिसकंटिन्यूअस वेरिएशन दैट अपीयर सडनली इन्वॉल्विंग म्यूटेशंस. राइट? सो दिस इज द रॉ मटेरियल फॉर ऑर्गेनिक एवोल्यूशन बाय व्हिच स्पीशीज ओरिजिनेट. राइट? म्यूटेशंस दैट आर अनसूटेबल, दे आर लाइकली. अब म्यूटेशन में तो प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते क्या आएगा ना. म्यूटेशन में हो सकता है ऐसा वेरिएशन हो जो अनसूटेबल है, तो नेचुरल सिलेक्शन से वो चला जाएगा. नेचर चाहता ही नहीं है ऐसा कैरेक्टर आना चाहिए, तो नेचुरल सिलेक्शन से वो चला जाएगा. राइट? आफ्टर सम टाइम ह्यूगो डे व्रिस ने ये थियरी दिया अराउंड इन 1905. राइट? आई थिंक सो. in the first part of that century, 1901 to 1905 to 1910, ये में Robert Brown had discovered nucleus, and there was a chromosomal theory also in the same era, same period, right ना? तो अब जैसे क्रोमोसोम्स का स्टडी डेवलप हुआ, तब पता चला कि ये जो सडन चेंज आ रहा है, इट्स अ क्रोमोसोमल एरर, it's a chromosomal error, right? And that cannot be counted as evolution, right? तो ये थियोरी जो है वो ब्लॉक हो गया, राइट? लेकिन ठीक है, उसका नाम तो आ गया हिस्ट्री में, ठीक है ना? सो 3 theories we have highlighted today in this particular video, right? Now, Lamarck's theory, Darwin's theory, and Hugo de Vries theory. We have one more theory to go, which is modern synthetic theory, which is like a mixture, bhilpuri of all these theories, but with a few new aspects also, right? We will discuss this in the next video, right?